an asset-backed annuity. We at Simply Retirement are finding this a more popular option for clients. The problem we have with annuities is that to provide yourself with an income that increases throughout your retirement and therefore keeps pace with inflation, reduces your starting income quite significantly. I've discussed this before, but effectively, if we want an income that's going to remain level for the rest of your life, it might provide you with £100 a month. Now, clearly, over time, the costs of goods and services that you're buying are going to become more expensive as inflation increases. And that £100 in the future will buy you a lot less than it would today. Therefore, it makes sense to have a pension income or an annuity that increases in line with inflation. But once again, the cost of building in inflation proof into an annuity means that our income reduces and starts at a much lower rate. Off the top of my head, let's suggest a figure of 55%. So we get £55 in year one, and that income is going to increase in line with whatever inflation increases by for year 2, 3, 4, and on into the future. Inflation currently is running at about 4%. What we've got to do is try and find an equilibrium or a balance here that's going to provide us with the opportunity for our pension income to increase in the future without necessarily having such a great reduction to start with. This is where the asset-backed annuity works quite well. What happens is your pension income is linked to the performance of an underlying asset. So that asset might be a fund from an insurance company. Typically, some of the default funds that we're being presented with are balanced funds. So they have a proportion of equity, they have a proportion of stocks and shares investments, which hopefully in the longer term provides some level of growth or performance. What happens is that you select the level of income that you'd like to take on day one. Now, I'd suggest that we try and match what you would get from a conventional annuity. Let's say that to maintain that level of income, the growth you need from the underlying asset is 4 or 5% a year. If the asset grows at 7%, clearly you've had 2% extra growth, and that helps your income to increase for the next year. The disadvantage and the risks of this route are that if your income is based on 5% growth and your asset only grows at 3%, then some reconciliation needs to take place and your income is reduced for the subsequent year. Now, of course, then it's up to the performance of the fund as to whether it gets back on track for year 2, 3, 4 and beyond. So what we're looking for is an income with the potential. We don't necessarily believe that it's going to keep pace with inflation, but it has the potential to increase to try and combat some of the effects of inflation. Just any increase will go part way to helping you in terms of offsetting what inflation will do to your pension income. There's the danger and the disadvantage that your income could reduce, but obviously what you're hoping for is to see that pension income steadily climb over time.